I'm really honored to have amongst us a learned scholar who's studied in Pakistan, in the Middle East, in England, and we've never heard him before. And he's one of those who thinks outside the box, thinks about the critical issues that affect us right now as a Muslim community in Britain. Also tries to see through those issues from fiqh perspective, that how can we analyze those critical issues that are affecting us right now, and how can we make a way through those issues. And I'm really honored to have a learned brother, a dear scholar, Hazrat Imam Abu Yusha Yasin Sahib Muntazir Ali. Narae Takbir, Narae Risalat, Narae Haidari, Narae Tahqiq, Jashn Milad-un-Nabi. Drushi Pray.
معزز سامعین، قابل احترام بزرگوں، بھائیوں، بچے، عظمت والی مائیں اور بہنیں، ثناءخوان رسول، علماء ذی وقار، حضرت علامہ امام قاری عاصم صاحب، السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ اس سے قبل کہ میں اپنی چند گزارشات کا اظہار کروں، میں سب سے پہلے چاہوں گا if I could invite everybody who is sat towards the back to come closer together. یہ محفل میلاد النبی صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم ہے، اور ہمارا ایمان ہے کہ حضور علیہ السلام اس محفل میں تشریف فرما ہے، لہٰذا ادب کا تقاضا ہے کہ ہم ادب کے ساتھ بیٹھیں اور we come closer. درود پاک۔
صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى
All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created this entire universe and gave the kingdoms of this universe to the most beloved Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The relationship of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam with this universe is something which is very important to understand and is an integral part of our iman and of our faith. Now, I'm going to take a bit of paper here just to give you an example. I have a ball of paper in my hand. Here's my hand. Here's a ball of paper. I put it in my hand and I close my fist around it. What is greater, this ball of paper or my hand? Tell me. My hand. Well, Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He says that my beloved, his rahmah encapsulates the entire universe. So, this is a ball of paper. This is my hand. My hand encapsulates this ball of paper. Therefore, science and logic tell us that that which encapsulates is greater than that which is being encapsulated. Therefore, in Arabic we say, my hand is muhit and this ball of paper is muhat. Allah has taught us in the Quran that the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ is so great that it encapsulates the entire universe. So what is greater, the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ or the universe? The rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ. Therefore, the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ is muhit, it is encapsulating, and that which is being encapsulated, that which is muhat, is the entire universe. And you know, in Tafsir Mazari, the writer says that there are, in the Tafsir of Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, he says that there are over 80,000 worlds that Allah refers to in Surah Fatiha. The rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ is not only contingent upon the planet Earth, but the entire universes that Allah has created. So you imagine, take one step back and think about the greatness of the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ. But let me point out something here. The rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ, this is one single attribute of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ has beshumar attributes, beshumar awsaf, but amongst them, one is rahmah. Well, if the status of one of his attributes is that it encapsulates the entire universes and creation, this one attribute is greater, then what about his Zat-e-Muqaddas? What about his Zat-e-Pak, which is a culmination and an amalgamation of his entire hundreds and thousands of attributes? What is the alam of that? Zat-e-Aqdas. And this reminds me of a book, Tazkiratul Awliya. There is a great wali of Allah, his name is Bayezid Bustami rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. And he narrates, he says, I reached the heights of walaya. And when I reached the heights of walaya, I knocked on the door of the arsh. It's a long story, I'm going to cut it down and get to the point. He knocked on the door of the arsh and a voice came, who is there? He answered, this was his third time at that station. He said, it is you. the doors of the Arsh opened and he entered. And he met with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? Kama sha'nuhu. Allah knows best. He met, and after his engagement with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, Ya Allah, I want to see the haqiqah. I want to see the reality of the beloved Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, O Bayazid, you cannot tolerate the haqiqat of my beloved. Please, don't ask this. He insisted several times. He insisted to Allah. So Allah said, fine, look towards your right. He gazed towards his right and he saw 70,000 rivers of nur and fire. And within the middle of that, he saw an intense nur and light. And he swears, he says that if I even moved a single millimeter in the direction of that nur, I would have perished, not just my physicality, but my ruh would have perished in that. That was Nur Muhammadi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It is beyond, it is mawara, it is not within the comprehension of creation to understand the reality. But look at one attribute where Allah extols, Allah is trying to explain the relationship of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam with us, with creation and with the universe. This is a foundation which solves many problems in ilmul kalam. This solves many issues, and if you understand this, it makes life very easy and it eradicates those silly misconceptions that we get embroiled into. Now, the first thing that Allah created in the history of this universe, it is the ma'mul of the Ahlus Sunnah that we do milad on every single occasion that we can possibly find. We do Milad-un-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But do you know what the first thing that happened in the history of creation was? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this entire creation, these universes, do you know what the first thing that happened was? Milad-un-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now you will say, Janab, ye to bahut bada dawa kar diya aapne. You've made a very huge statement there. Prove it. What's the daleel? What's the evidence for this? Well, the daleel for this, the evidence for this is one which people often use to actually refute this issue. But I'll present it to you. According to the Ahlul Sunnah, we often say that the first thing that was created was the nur of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is what Hadith-e-Nur is all about, isn't it? But those that oppose this, they bring another hadith into the equation, which is narrated by Imam Tirmizi, Imam Ahmad, and other muhaddithin, and they say that this hadith is of a stronger, it is a stronger narration and therefore has greater priority. And that hadith is أَوَّلُ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ الْقَلَمِ. They say that the first thing that was created was the pen. It's not a pen like you and I write with. This was a creation of Allah. And they say that this was, however, let's go further into that hadith, and we see that Allah says that in awwaliyat He created the pen first. Fine. But once He created the pen, what happened then? Well, Allah said to the pen, Uktub, write. And the pen said, Ya Allah, what shall I write? You are asking me to write, what shall I write? And Allah taught the pen. فَعَلَّمَ الْقَلَمِ. He gave the pen knowledge. Then He said, Uktub, write. And the pen said, Ya Allah, what shall I write? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقَتَبَ مَا كَانَ وَمَا يَكُونَ. Write everything that was and everything that will be. Now, let's analyze this logically. If the pen was the first of creation, and Allah should have instructed it to write everything that is going to be, future tense. But Allah did not simply use the future tense. He didn't say, write everything that is going to be. He said, write everything that has been, mazi, in the past, and write everything which is going to be. So that indicates to us that there must have been something which existed even before the pen. Otherwise, Allah would never have said, right, before the sun was created, before the moon was created, before heaven and hell were created, before the stars were created, the earth was created, before man, jinn, ins, nabatat, before anything was created, Allah created Nur Muhammadi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And when Allah instructed the pen to write, what was He telling the pen to do? He was saying, "O pen, do the zikr of the milad of Nur Muhammadi sallallahu alayhi wasallam." So it is the sunnah of the qalam to do the zikr and the milad of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And it is the order, it is the hukm of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave the order to the pen to do the zikr of the milad of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And when we refer to milad, when we refer to our milad, milad means birthday. When we refer to our milad, we have two birthdays. We have that birthday where our ruh was born, and in terms of our arwah, we are all the same age. Our souls were all extracted from the pusht of Adam alayhi salam at the same time. And then we have our physical birth when we came into this dunya. But the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he has 3 birthdays. His physical birthday was the last one. Prior to that was the spiritual birthday, which was the same as ours. When he was asked, Ya Rasulullah, when was your ruh born? He said, the same time it was extracted from the pusht of Adam alayhi salam. However, at the same time, the Prophet ﷺ says, "Kuntu Nabiyan Adamu bainal ma'i wa teen." He says, I was a prophet even at that stage before Adam ﷺ was born. So it shows that the nabuwwat of the Prophet ﷺ is not contingent upon his physicality, upon his ruhaniyat. No, his nur existed even before Adam ﷺ, and even at that stage, he was a Nabi. And yet today we have those people that have this silly notion that he became a prophet at the age of 40. No, he was at the inception of creation. His nur was the first of creation, and at that point he was a prophet, and he was the master and leader and imam of all prophets. So the first thing that Allah commanded the primary creation of the pen was to do Milad-un-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And I would like to congratulate the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. I would like to congratulate all of you that are present here today, that you are all enhancing and following the Sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the qalam and of creation. And lastly, I'm conscious of time, so I'm shortening my discourse. The last point I just want to make is, look, people say, don't call it milad, they do itraz, don't call it mitraz. We have no issue about what happens, but, don't call it milad, call it seerah celebration. Well, look, when we pray namaz, our namaz is contingent upon our tahara, upon our wudu. If we don't have wudu, we don't have salah. Likewise, the seerah, the life of the Prophet ﷺ is contingent upon his birth. If there was no birth, there would have been no life. Therefore, what is more important? It is important to celebrate the Milad-un-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because it is through the wasila of milad, of the birth of the beloved alayhi salatu wasalam, that we have the entire existence and we have the entire creation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand the reality of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And in closing, one message. There's one thing beautiful about the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We understand, in the Quran, again I'm not going to go into detail, in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the waqia of Yusuf alayhi salam. When Yusuf alayhi salam was about to engage in something, in an act which he shouldn't have been going towards, the Quran says that he saw a burhan, he saw a sign, and when he saw that sign, some Mufassirin say it was his father Yaqub alayhi salam, some people say it was another sign, and some people say it was his Imam Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When we're about to do something wrong, and if our fathers are watching us, or our ustad is watching us, or our elders are watching us, do we do it? No, we don't. Well, it is the Imam of the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah that Muhammad Arabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, yes, he was born over 1400 years ago, but till Yawm al-Qiyamah, he sees, he is present, he is hazir, he is nazir, he is everywhere. And that is why we have this belief, and there can be no Sunni on the face of this planet who recognizes his Nabi that could ever act outside the domain of the Quran and Sunnah, who could ever harm another soul, who could ever harm each other, because he knows that my Prophet is watching me. And he knows, and when you know that you are being watched, you are very, very careful. Therefore, it is not the actions of the Ahlus Sunnah and the true mu'min that are reflected in the media today. No, these are deviant people and have nothing to do with Islam and nothing to do with the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi.